All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. You ready to go beneath the surface with us today?
Always excited to dive in.
I am too, and especially today because we are talking about, well, I'll give you a hint. It's a creature that's happy in both freshwater and saltwater.
Sounds intriguing. I'm picturing maybe a crocodile or something.
Not quite. Think a little gentler. Think sea cow.
Oh, a manatee.
You got it. But not just any manatee. We're going deep on the African manatee.
Ah, fascinating choice. They're not as well known as their American cousins, are they?
Definitely not. And that's exactly why we are doing this deep dive. We're going to uncover all sorts of cool facts about these gentle giants based on some really interesting research I found.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. I think what surprised me the most was, did you know there are actually 3 different species of manatees in the world?
Oh, that's right, I'd forgotten. The West Indian manatee, the Amazonian manatee, and of course, our star today, the African manatee.
Exactly. And the African manatee is this really unique species. They are found in over 21 countries in West and Central Africa, which is just mind-blowing.
That is quite a range. Speaking of ranges, their habitat is incredibly diverse as well. We're talking rivers, estuaries, mangroves, lagoons. They even venture out to coastal areas.
Yeah, I read that too. They're not picky about the salinity of the water. I mean, unlike their American relatives who stick to just one type, the African manatee is comfortable in both fresh and salt water, which, makes them pretty adaptable.
Definitely. It's crucial to their survival, especially with all the threats these gentle giants face. In fact, the African manatee is currently listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List.
Which is a real shame because they play such an important role in their ecosystems.
Absolutely. They're considered a keystone species, which means their presence or absence has a significant impact on the overall health of their environment.
So what exactly makes them so vital to these ecosystems?
Well, they're herbivores, and they eat, get this, up to 10% of their body weight in aquatic vegetation every single day.
Wow, that's a lot of greens.
It is. Their diet consists mainly of seagrasses, mangrove leaves, and freshwater plants.
So they're like underwater lawn mowers, keeping everything trimmed and tidy.
Pretty much. And that grazing actually prevents overgrowth of certain plants, which would block sunlight and oxygen that other aquatic life need. Plus, their waste acts as fertilizer, promoting healthy plant growth.
So they're like little gardeners down there.
Exactly. They're constantly munching, constantly contributing to nutrient cycling in the ecosystem. It's really fascinating how it all works together.
And they're not small creatures either.
Oh,
I mean, some of them can grow up to 4.5 meters long. That's like the size of a small car, right? And they can weigh up to 500 kilograms.
incredible, isn't it? They are truly gentle giants.
They really are. What allows them to navigate through all those diverse environments?
Well, they have a few key adaptations. Their paddle-shaped tail is super powerful, propelling them through the water, and their small eyes. Those are perfect for low light conditions. Plus, they don't have external ear flaps like most mammals, which makes their bodies more streamlined for moving through water.
Smart design. You mentioned earlier that they are facing some threats. Can we talk about that a bit more?
Sure, it's a sad reality, but habitat destruction is a major problem. Deforestation, dam construction, pollution. These all contribute to degrading their homes. It disrupts water flow, reduces their food sources, and exposes them to harmful pollutants.
And on top of that, you have the illegal hunting. It's just, well, it's just awful.
It really is. They're hunted for their meat, oil, and even used in some traditional medicines. This demand fuels a black market that puts a lot of pressure on their populations.
And it's not just hunting, right? Accidental entanglement in fishing nets is a big problem too.
Unfortunately, yes. Getting caught in fishing nets can lead to drowning or serious injuries, and then there are the boat collisions, which can be just as devastating.
All very sobering stuff. But are there any conservation efforts being made to help the African manatee?
There are, actually. And that's the good news. Habitat protection is a big focus. This includes establishing protected areas and working to restore degraded ecosystems. And of course, there are also anti-poaching laws and efforts to enforce them.
Makes sense. Education probably plays a big role too, right? Making sure people understand how important these animals are.
Absolutely. Engaging local communities in conservation efforts is key. Education programs are raising awareness about the African manatee and promoting sustainable practices that can benefit both people and the manatees.
So while they face serious challenges, it sounds like there is hope for the African manatee.
There is definitely hope. I think their story is a great example of how important it is to protect individual species, but also preserve the health of entire ecosystems.
Totally. And I love that they communicate through chirps and squeaks. I mean, they're not just huge, they're vocal too.
They are. And those sounds are especially important for mothers and calves. The calves stay with their mothers for up to 2 years, learning all the essential survival skills.
That's amazing. All of this makes me wonder about something.
So what's that?
We often talk about saving individual species, which is incredibly important. But by protecting the African manatee, aren't we also protecting all the other creatures that share their habitat?
That's a great point. Protecting one species often means protecting a whole web of life. It makes you think, what other interconnected relationships are we missing? And how can understanding those connections help us with conservation efforts?
That is a great question and a great note to end on. I hope everyone listening will keep exploring the fascinating world of the African manatee and all the amazing creatures that share our planet. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
Until next time.